Welcome to the Grand Potential. We are so glad that you are here. Our podcast is really about supporting businesses to reach their grand potential. And each person that we bring on to the Grand Potential, our intention is to provide you with new ideas, new insights, knowledge, and hear about their journey and their experience, really focusing on our three core values, which is connect, create, and collaborate. And we are super excited today because this is one area that I am fascinated in and do not have a lot of experience either. And the focus today is virtual assistants. And our guest today is Tawnya Sutherland. And, you know, she started as a virtual assistant 24 years ago. That's a long time ago. And 17 years ago, she went through a business planning program that I was a part of designing the whole entire structure, process, content, which is very intriguing. And what she absolutely loves is really teaching and coaching her clients on their journeys. And 95% of her time she spends doing that. So Susan and I both love watching this journey and evolution of success. And Tawnya, you have become so successful, and we're super blessed that you can be here to join us today at the Grand Potential Podcast. Thanks for being here, Tawnya.
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm so excited to, it's like we know each other and we're so close in location and everything. So it's kind of cool. Yeah.
It is, and, I want to dive right in here, Tawnya. I think your entire journey and story from when you started to where you are is such an inspirational story. I mean, you run your business out of your home. You're in Maple Ridge, British Columbia. And, you started, you said 24 years ago as a virtual assistant. Yeah. And now you lead virtual assistants all over the world and supporting and guiding and teaching them. Can you tell us a little bit and connect us with our first core value we want to look at right now? Is connect us to, this journey and transformation and story of how you got started and how the whole evolution happened.
Yeah, well, I was working at an IT job as a secretary, basically, an IT consulting business. And the guy just kind of walked off the set and left us all hanging. So I had to decide, hey, what can I do from home, preferably, because I had 3 small children. I just went through a stressful divorce, the price of childcare and everything. It was just without a job. I was coming home on the bus because my car was in an accident and it was totaled. And I was coming home from the bus, from the food bank, which I'm not proud to say, but I had to utilize that back then. I was a single mom. I had, pay wasn't coming in because we'd lost that opportunity at that place where I was working. And, I was basically having a pity party at the kitchen table, crying my eyes out, wondering what can I do? And, my son, he came up to me and he was scared, don't cry anymore, that kind of thing. You're scaring me, Mom, right? And it was kind of right then that I guess I figured out my decision was to find something to solve the situation. I had the secretarial skills. I had customer service skills from working at the IT place and things like that. And I had a strong love for those kids, right? And that was my fuel, and that's what moved me forward. So, that night I started researching, how can I work from home? And that was before, remember, that was before Facebook, before there was Google. There was no Google back then, right? No Google. I think I was looking in Yahoo groups, that kind of thing back then. And that's really showing my age, but it is what it is. But I guess I'm telling you that because I didn't have all the resources that are available to you now. And I could figure it out, right? I came across the word virtual assistant on somebody's website. Hi, Nina Feldman, that's who that was. And that inspired me to start up my own VA business, offering my services from home, secretarial services. And, it just went from there. I scaled that into more of an internet marketing business where SEO was the big thing back then. And that was my specialty, and scaled a bit more that way. And pretty soon I was trying to figure out how to get a forum up high in the search engines, because I needed to do that for a client. And I thought, well, I'll just start one up on my own virtual assistant forum. And boom, that's how I got, all of a sudden I had like 500 members. Right? And it was just like, oh, free forum. So I learned how to get that forum up in the search engines, and so I could help my client. But in the same steps there, I ended up starting my next, I guess, stepping stone where I was going, right? And that was going to be teaching and training and helping virtual assistants get up and running. And, 20 years later, I started up my virtual assistant success system that gets you started from startup to finish and scaling. And I've got a membership for virtual assistants. And yeah, it's just been ongoing since then, helping and nurturing VAs and seeing them have success too. So,
and
yeah.
you really have had some amazing success with some of the virtual assistants that you have trained and coached along this journey. And I love the fact that you were a virtual assistant yourself and knew the experience of that, and then created this program to support them. I mean, your evolution is really inspiring, because you kept reinventing yourself, really based on the need that was out there, right?
Yep.
That
Yeah,
was
definitely. And it's like, one of the virtual assistants that bought my system in the beginning, she had these, it was Jamie, and her testimonials on our website and stuff, but she, thought, well, I don't know if I could put that money out for this system at the time, like it was $900 or something like that. And, how can she justify it? And now, like 15 years later, I'm paying her $1,600 a day because she's a copywriter, right? Like, it's just like a full circle around. And, she's making those six figures. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
and how magnificent is that? Because
Yeah,
you can
it's
watch
really
the
cool.
evolution of her, and that's your juice. I'm just detecting here. That
Well, we almost said we should write a book about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Complete
Well,
circle.
it's extraordinary. And for you to witness that growth of her and be a part of that, that's just got to just fill you right up.
Yeah,
Tawnya.
it does. It's where I get my kicks.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to help me here. I am not experienced in the whole virtual world of hiring associates. So what are the benefits of having a virtual assistant? I mean, I dream of having virtual assistants for the Grand Connection some more too, but what are the benefits of that? If you can connect us with that.
From a client standpoint, I mean, they're cost effective. There's no overhead. Like, you don't have to pay for UI or dental insurance, medical and things like that. You don't have to pay for their computer or their equipment, right? Because they're independent business owners, so they pay for all that. So it is cost effective for the client, because you're not paying all those extra things. And it's also full business support as they need it. So if you only need someone to help you 3 times a week, or maybe 10 hours a month or whatever it is, you don't have to pay for a full-time secretary in-house, basically, right? And with people working from home nowadays, people are more accepting of it. We don't have to educate them in that way, but really it reduces the client's stress, because they're not overwhelmed, because the VA's taking away those tedious tasks that they don't like doing, or freeing up their time so that they can do what they love. So if you're a coach charging $300 an hour, you can hire a VA to do that work that's taking you 5 hours out of your week at maybe $50 an hour. There's $150 and you're charging $300. You've doubled your money, quite a bit just by hiring a VA. So, outsourcing is good if you, plan it well and do it properly. And yeah, it can free up the times that you can do what you love doing, making more product or selling more, whatever. Yeah.
Or just doing the things that we love to do and receiving
Well,
that support, right? Like,
yeah.
and using our time more effectively. So I want to ask this question. It's just my own personal question is, I know you have teams of virtual assistants in different areas of specialities. Can you share with us some of the areas that different virtual assistants focus on for that support?
Yeah. One of the things about scaling as a VA is trying to find that niche, that specialty, or that target market, something that you can serve. And there's a lot of specialized high-end services like that, like bookkeeping, for example. That's a service all on its own. You need to learn all the bookkeeping stuff, the QuickBooks, all the different programs or whatever, right? So that's more of a specialty service. Same as podcasting. You guys have a podcast here. You might hire a podcasting VA that does all the editing and specializes in putting your show notes up and different things, organizing. So those are kind of like specialty services where they do that instead of all the general administration. And that can come right down to, you know, an Instagram specialist, someone that does your email marketing, your newsletters, right? Or it could be professional, like you only work for realtors. So you know all of their industry, right? Yeah, there's so many ways you can specialize like that.
Great. I'm going to pass this over to Susan. She's going to focus on the second core value, which is create. So Susan, I'll pass it over to you.
Oh, Tawnya, it's so exciting to be here talking to you. Tawnya and I have crossed paths over the last 2 decades. Like I'm just, as you're telling your story, I'm thinking, okay, because I've been on your mailing list since I don't know when, the beginning, early days. I probably when you started your digital agency, I would guess, and then moved over to and I saw something about the VA network because I love to follow people who are in my industry and you know, see what you're up to. And I just love the journey, the success. I remember, you know, I started selling online in 1996. So AOL was where I first started posting things, right? And looking for stuff. So early days, like your Yahoo. And then my marketing agency, similar to you, I shifted over to a marketing agency when I got divorced because I had to make a change and find a way to get income quickly. Mm-hmm. And I had been doing other things that were, you know, in the space, but my marketing agent, which was basically like a VA, but with a focus on marketing, because that's what I did. And then I eventually added in a team that worked for me, and I got a team offshore, and then I started managing and project managing. So that's how I was able to scale, and which is a journey that a lot of your VAs are going through. So we have 2 types of listeners here, I think. Some of them are the entrepreneurs that are thinking, how am I going to start a business, which might be starting off as a VA, then going through that path of specialization and scaling. And then we also have people listening here that just want to scale their own current business and find that way to outsource and delegate. So I'm going to jump into those people first, and then we'll come back to the people who want to become a VA. Mm-hmm. And, you know, what are the best ways to outsource? Like you mentioned it earlier with Carolyn. Can you first just sort of give us some general tips on outsourcing and how to take that first step to go and start paying someone else for the jobs you're currently doing?
Yeah, and it's hard to outsource for the first time, right? Because we are business owners. We like to keep control and everything like that. The first thing I ever outsourced was my housekeeping. And I know that's not business related, okay? But it was something that I could do. And, you know, in the beginning, you learn a lot from something simple like that. Like the first time she came, my house was spotless. And then I learned, no, don't clean up before she comes, right? Like, you know, it taught me how to delegate a little bit if you don't know what to even start with. But that will save you 4 hours at least per week that you can work on something you want to do, right? Unless you love housekeeping. So that's, yeah. You know. But anyways, I think hiring, first of all, a VA that you can work with, just a generalist virtual assistant. You've got different VAs. You've got VAs, you've got project managers, that are like online business managers, that type of VA. And then you've got your specialists like that I talked about. Now, your VAs that are more general, that you can, source out some tasks like organizing your email just to get started, or maybe it's doing your bookkeeping, putting things into your spreadsheet for your accountant or whatever, just little things that think about what you don't like doing and start there, or things that you're procrastinating at, start there, because they have to get done, those things, right? And we're not doing them for a reason, because we don't want to, right? So, start with something simple like a VA. I don't say go right to an online business manager or project manager and hire one of them right off the bat. First, start learning how to work with a VA. And then, once you've got a couple of VAs that you're working with, then you maybe hire someone to work and organize them a bit and do more of your organization of the client work. And the specialists, like say you, Susan is like a marketing specialist. You just hire them for more of a contract. Like say you needed, I don't know, Instagram set up or something or other. I don't know, all your stuff set up. You would hire them to do that. You might hire them on a retainer afterwards for further work, but that's more of a specialist thing. And yeah, so I guess those are the three kinds of outsourcing you could do. And whether you want to do offshore, onshore, I don't know if you call it onshore, but North America or offshore is totally up to you. You're just going to have, that's another whole topic, but there's a lot of things that are systems that you can just, if they're just plug and play system things, that you can send them off to offshore, and a lot of them can do that very well because it's all itemized for how to do it. But I've got some offshore people that can do a lot more than that too, but it takes a while to find them.
Yeah.
Go through a few people too.
Yeah, I know it takes a lot and years of training and stuff. You said the word systems, and that's really, Carol and I have been going through this journey of systematizing. February, our theme last February was business systems. Perfect. And after all of our speakers and our master classes on it, we were like, anything, if it's repeatable and we can create a checklist or a system on it, then it becomes, we practice it ourselves and then we give it to the VA, right? Mm-hmm. So once we learn it, and then we can hand it over to somebody else. And then now we're starting to get the process. We have 2 VAs and we have a marketing specialist VA, I would say, and she's doing the assistant on that. And we're bringing in people that can work under her to try to scale that at different points. And some people are local and some people are offshore too. And it mm-hmm. depends on the tasks. And then, the communication sometimes when it's somebody offshore is more difficult, because I've been working with people, offshore for years. There is language barriers and that, and
time zone, just trying
time zone. Like I'm up, and Carolyn knows, and we've talked to many of people on our podcast of how do I get better sleep, right? It's because I work with people in a 12.5-hour difference, and it's very hard. Mm-hmm. So how do you actually choose somebody? Like let's say you decide, okay, now I've got so many tasks. There's some marketing tasks and there's some admin tasks here. How am I going to find that right person to work with?
Yeah. First of all, there's a million different places to find that person. It could be your friend sitting next to you has a VA, or it could be you come to a job board like I have and you have to go through and find a VA. You're kind of going to want to vet them, just like you were hiring a person in real life. Get on a Zoom call with them. Definitely. I think that's just the norm now. If there's a reason they don't want to be on a Zoom call, I just think it's odd nowadays because everybody's doing it, right? But you're going to vet them, check out their social networks, see if they have a website and they've been online for a while, because you don't want to work with a fly-by-night VA that's just doing this for the summer until they can get a job in the fall or whatever, right? Because you're going to spend all that time training them and then they're gone, right? So, they'll have testimonials on their websites. you can find their testimonials in their LinkedIn's too. That's really a good place to find. A lot of VAs have a LinkedIn profile and people can put testimonials and raves about them right there. But yeah, it's just doing that, seeing how they correspond with you right from the get-go. Are they like quick with their correspondence? Does it take you a week to get their email back? Like, do you want to work with someone that takes that long? Right? Do they have some kind of communication is key with your VAs? If you don't have a good communication system set up, whatever, usually they'll have one, but doesn't always necessarily work for you if you have your own. So you might want them to be able to go into your ClickUp or whatever you're using, right?
What's ClickUp?
Just like a project management system, like Asana or something like that, right? Maybe they're using something like that to manage their clients. But yeah, I think, I don't know if that answered your question, but you really just need to vet them.
Yeah, it's
And
the
make sure
vetting
the
and
personality
so
fits.
another thing that comes in is trust, because you're giving them passwords a lot of the time. If they're doing your online work, you're going to add them into your Facebook or your your login for your accounting if you got a bookkeeper. So how do you feel comfortable with that?
I use LastPass. I mean,
Yeah.
then they don't
Yeah.
see your passwords. So if one day you're uncomfortable, you just take that access away, right? And then they can't log in anymore.
So then with that setup, you're set up with the master logins all in LastPass, and you give them access to your LastPass. They don't actually see your passwords, but they're able to log in, and they have to create their own account, right?
Yeah.
That's a very good way. Yeah.
And again, it is vetting to make sure they, that they have worked with other people, looking at things, seeing how long they've been online, and just getting that feel with the initial correspondence with them. How do you feel personally? Do you have any red flags right off the bat? Like, I would love to see VAs using not at Gmail or at Outlook. It's like those old at AOLs.com, right? Like, I don't trust those emails. You want to see them working for, Brittany at vamarketer.com or whatever it is, right? So they have a domain name style email. That's one of the red flags. But if you feel anything inside that's not right, it's a red flag. So now you start dickering down and seeing if there's other red flags.
Yeah. And
it is a process.
I get clients who'll come to me and they've hired somebody, and maybe it's I usually, because I build websites, it's usually a developer that's gone AWOL and they've got all their passwords, their logins, they maybe have even set up their domain, and they don't have access to those things, and we're trying to get all that access back. So it's finding those right people to trust. And again, as you said, vetting them. A referral from somebody who's already been working with that VA is phenomenal. Like, that's why we at the Grand Connection, it's a community, and we have VAs in our community, and you, Tawnya, have VAs in your community too. So you can start to get to know people there, check out their reviews. And what I always do is I work with when I'm outsourcing, I work with somebody and I give them a very small, easier project that has less trust factors. They may not be getting logins to my whole suite of technology, but I'm going to do the LastPass. That's a good idea. I never thought about that. So I've got my
$15 a year to be able to hide the passwords and share a folder with them, but it's so worth it, right?
Yeah, no, I'm doing that. I've already written it down on my to-do list, and I'm going to get that one done for sure. So let's go on to now, if I'm an entrepreneur, I've had my job with COVID. A lot of people have lost careers right now, and they're looking for a new career to get into, and they're struggling to find what their passion is. Sometimes you can say, okay, Carolyn works with clients like this. What's your skills? What do you do? What do you love? And then maybe that's a skill that they can do for other people and start being a VA. Now, you don't have to call yourself a VA. You can be a consultant or a specialist or an assistant in something, but let's say we get started. How would I haven't started yet. What am I going to do?
Yeah. And let's just state that the VA term is just a term so that I can market and find the freelancers. And it's like an umbrella term, right? For anybody that wants to offer their services, whether they're creative, technical, or administrative, to others. So it's kind of like an umbrella term that I use so I can get you all together so I can talk to you, right? But yeah. And sorry, Susan, I went off there, but what was your question again?
Yeah, so what do I do to get started? I've got to,
right.
Let's say I'm a marketing person. I've had a background in marketing, but let's say I was working corporate. I was working as a CMO. Now I want to go on my own. I'm going to be a marketing specialist. I don't know how to start.
Yeah.
What do I do?
What you do is write down, like I have the whole startup system for services to get started, right? But there is a roadmap of things that you got to do. But first of all, write down, what can you offer? Like, what services could you offer to help someone basically in their business? And that will start giving you some ideas of things you like doing. Like if you love doing social media, maybe you might become a social media VA down the road, or maybe your Instagram, love it, or technical, maybe your video editing, things like that, or your whiz in Canva and you love doing images, things like that. Those are all skills that you can take and make into some type of service business. Even like if you're a copywriter, a copywriter can do that as well. Like anybody that has creative, technical, or administrative, it's just a matter of plopping it down on, like I tell them, get your Post-it notes and start writing them all down, and then grouping them where they might connect, and you'll see, oh, everything's design related. So I'm probably more creative, little bit of marketing. Maybe I could do creative marketing,
So how do I get my first clients?
There's a few ways to find your first clients. First of all, have a website so that you're professional. A pimped out LinkedIn page is not going to cut it. You need to have a website. So work on doing that first before I'm not saying you can't get clients before then, but you're going to have a quicker road to getting those clients if they can vet you with your website and stuff. And then just look at your phone, go to your contacts, scroll through and see, you can go like this for hours on your contacts. That's your hot market, your warm market at least. Let them know you're in business. Here's my website. If you know anybody that needs these services, boom, right? That's the first thing I would do. And don't forget, in all of this, you're going to do follow-up, which I can mention in a second here, but there's one place you can find your clients. Next is local. We are starting to be able to get out. Well, we kind of can get out again, but who knows? But there's Zoom meetings, network things, local meetups that you can go to. That's good because people meet you in person more, and they're going to trust you as soon as they see you, more than trying to hit up in a Facebook group and trying to get your clients that way. And you don't know who you're getting in the Facebook groups either, right? They could be scams, they could be whatever. The other place is just, if you belong to a network like mine for freelancers, right? We have a job board and we vet through them, and, we know that you're getting quality jobs that you don't have to do any marketing for. I do the marketing, I bring the jobs in, and you guys just got to apply for them. And the application process is just, the more you follow up, the more you'll land. And that's where most freelancers, virtual assistants, whatever you want to call yourself, fail, is they send off an email applying for the job, and where's that email? It's in the person's spam box. It's not looked at because the person's too busy or something or other, right? So there's another follow-up process, maybe get on the phone. Did you get my email? Or find them on their social networks. I emailed you. Did you find it? There's different follow-ups, and just doing that, just forming the relationships, it's all a follow-up process, which is like a whole month you guys could teach on follow-up.
Well, and I presume it's in your program, your VACS success system, right?
Yeah.
That's part of it. And Carolyn has, what's your saying about follow-up, Carolyn?
Well, the fortune is in the follow-up.
There we
It
go.
absolutely is. And I've taught many workshops on this. And the truth is that it's about building relationships, right, Tawnya? I mean,
Yeah.
it's about, you know, that connection, same thing that the grand connection is about.
Mhm.
And this, you know, our platform here, the grand potential, it's to bring that connection. So people here have an opportunity to hear you and hear what you're doing. It's about forming those relationships and connections. And follow-up is exactly that. And
Yeah.
it just builds trust,
Mhm.
right?
It's a secret key.
I'm not going to hire you or have anything to do with you unless I trust you.
Mhm.
How am I going to trust you? By you following up on me, because then I know you're a person of your word and you actually follow through with
Mhm.
what you say you're going to do.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly.
And you also taught Carolyn about getting those good testimonials. So those first few clients you get those testimonials so that can start building that trust as well. And then this is the journey that you go through in your business as you get more clear in what you're doing. Your messaging is going to get clearer, your brand's going to get clearer, and then it becomes easier to get those clients, because when you're out there networking or any marketing you're doing in the website branding and people are coming back to it to check up on you, it's all clear and the trust is there, and people are going to, with a good call to action, they're going to call you up and meet you and find out if you're the right person to work with, if you're a good fit for them. It just all starts growing. Now, in your VA success system, you also take people, and you told us some stories about from 6 to even 7 figures. So tell us a little bit about that and how, you know, this can apply to all of us. A lot of us are coaches listening in on here. We're all going through the same process of scaling. So share with us.
Well, there's so many different ways to scale a service-based business, from niching and specializing to doing an agency like you do, Suzanne, to doing some other things to help you scale. Maybe you're going to create a program, a course, and sell that as well on top of something that you're specialty at. Like I was a special at teaching virtual assistants. So I did a course in that. And that was a good way to scale for me. There's other ways you can bring in affiliate marketing to scale. You can do a price hike. There's so many different ways to do to scale in that business. Do launches on your products, take in and do some personal coaching. If you like to do coaching, or maybe you're going to have half-day implementation days where you work with the client directly and you're charging big bucks for that. It's not like $50 an hour. You're charging $1,500 for a day of that or something like that, right? So those things can make you scale and reach the 7 figures.
Now you have an agency as well.
Yeah,
that
I have an
scaled
agency
as
as
well.
well.
So you started off as a VA yourself and turned that into an agency.
Yeah, and I don't deal with, I'm not part of the agency except for my pay.
Yeah, but you started it, and that's definitely scaled when you're getting paid for something.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, I scaled my business. I do a lot of affiliate marketing. I love to do coaching. I mean, there's only one of me, so there's only so much coaching you can do. And I have my programs and membership site. So there's 4 ways that I've scaled my business, plus the agency, I guess. Yeah. And I'm honestly not working very long through the week. Like everybody knows I sleep till 10. I am a late morning person, and yeah, I work when I want through the day. I'm always done by 6, and I never work on the weekends or evenings. Like it's just, I'm probably putting in 4 to 6 hours a day now. And that's if I want to.
Just thrilled to see this journey, because we all wouldn't mind working 4 to 6 hours a day or not having to work, and the money is still earning, and we're still helping people. It's, you know, as you go through this journey of your life, you're at different stages along the path, and you have covered them all, and you've done it in multiple paths, and it's really exciting to hear. I'm going to pass this back to Carolyn, who's now going to talk to you about our 3rd value, collaboration.
Yes. And Tawnya, I know that this journey and evolution of success that you've been on, and I just want to point out that I love that you're living the life that you love too. So you've weaved in what's really core and important and key in your life into your business rather than your business run your life. So I just really acknowledge you for honoring yourself and creating that for yourself. So in regards to collaboration, I know that this hasn't been a journey of you doing this alone, because none of us do this alone. So I'm just curious about what you think about this concept of collaboration along this path or process, and how important that's been for you in your success.
And when you mean collaboration, like I've had people that I bring in and we do different joint ventures with. Is that what you mean, Carolyn?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in regards to that, and also, you know, people that you've collaborated with that really have been influential in supporting you to build this business. In that angle, joint venture partnerships, absolutely what's created success. And just really looking at the concept of, you know, joining with other business influential people that supported you in your success.
Yeah, well, one of the successes, even with my VA insiders for bringing jobs into the job board, is I need to connect with other business owners and tell them, hey, put your jobs in at our job board, because that keeps my membership alive if there's lots of jobs there. So you know, always going to networking events where there's other business owners that need to hire VAs. That's been important to me, to the point where I put out, it's like a referral program or an affiliate program. And so I pay for those jobs to come into our job board. And that has been beneficial, being that affiliate thing, because now I'm paying to bring the jobs in, they're getting paid. It's a win for them to send their people that need a VA to me. And in the same breath, it's helping build my membership because more and more jobs go in there. That's one way possibly that I've done that. Collaboration. Oh, here's a good example. There was this, I kept coming up really high in the search engines for virtual office space, like boardrooms, things like that, because our thing just ranked well. Well, then I connected with someone in Vancouver that actually had real office space and things like that. And whenever somebody would phone in on my website about that, I would connect them with them, and I got a cut for connecting them, and then they got the boardroom rented. So like that was a good collaboration. I wouldn't have known that had I did not look at Google Analytics, or, you know, start to click in, why is everybody phoning me to rent an office? I don't have office space, right? So, you know, there's things will just fall on your lap sometimes like that. But
But you also took advantage of that situation, and you looked at the opportunity rather than that going, well, I don't rent office space. You
Right.
went, well,
how can I make
this
money
is
from
the way
that?
it is. How can I make this work to be a win-win situation? That's what you did.
Yeah.
So that's just really inspiring too. And, you know, we all need to look at our business this way. So rather than looking at things being an obstacle, look and find the opportunity that's available and how you could possibly collaborate with other organizations too. That's excellent. Awesome. Now, how can we get a hold of you? How can businesses find out about your virtual assistants and putting jobs on your job board for people that are thinking about, you know, starting their own service business and being, you know, part of your program, your success program? How do we hear about all those things? Where do we need to go?
Yeah, if you just, I've got a couple of websites each for each individual one, but if you go to vanetworking.com, that's going to connect you with everything. Like at the top, it'll say hire a VA, you click there, or become a VA, you click there, and it takes you to the spots where you will need. And we've got a great blog over there too as well that helps identify some solutions to some problems that people have as a VA or outsourcing. So yeah, I guess that's the place to find me.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time to be on the Grand Potential podcast and just educating us all about what it takes to be a VA, but also what we can do if we really are interested in hiring a VA. So thanks for taking the time, and we appreciate it very much from the Grand Connection.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm so happy I've connected with you guys. Connections.
Yes, there you go. That's right. So anything you want to close off with, Susan?
I want to thank you, Tawnya. I've probably been on your email list the longest of everybody, and just thrilled to everybody sign up for her email list. You know, she's got different events and summits, and she doesn't mail a lot. It's respectable amount of emails with good information, and just follow her journey. It's fun to see. And thank you very much. One last tip for anyone listening who's looking for a VA. What would be our first step?
Oh my goodness. Come to my network, find your VA, your ultimate VA. No,
I say that's for sure. Go to her. You have blogs on how to find a VA. All this information I've been asking you, it's on your blog too.
yeah, there's a whole ebook there on how to find the ultimate VA, what to look for, services that you might need done, like a whole checklist. You can download that if you're starting out wanting to outsource, but just try to find something to outsource and just do it, because once you get started, it's addictive. Then you end up with agencies where you're not even working because you've outsourced everything, right? But it starts little and that's where it grows too.
So start with my cleaning, then my bookkeeping.
Okay, can I just mention something right now? My cleaning lady is here as we speak. And that was a great win too.
And that wasn't long ago. It's when we started getting busy with the Grand Connection. She's like, it's hard to keep up. We were in a place where we were working less hours, and now we started the Grand Connection. It's a full-time passion of love, and it's filling up our day. And we're looking, what can I outsource? I now get someone to wash my car.
My husband still does that. Thank goodness.
That's awesome. So thanks for inspiring us. I'm absolutely going to go look on that job board for administrative support for a VA, because there's a lot of things that we're doing with the Grand Connection that are duplicatable, that I'm creating templates right now as we speak, that my dream is just to let go of all of that and to really focus on what I'm good at with the Grand Connection and let those go. And I can see it. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that excites me. So just thanks for doing what you do and just opening the door to this possibility. We're creating freedom. I mean, that's what you're doing with these. You're creating freedom for business owners.
We can work when we want, wherever we want, with whoever we want. Yeah, I love it.
Me too. Thank you.